Good afternoon from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm James Brierton. It's Sunday, August the 1st, 2021. We have severe weather that is occurring right now in portions of North Carolina and a threat that includes a lot of North Carolina and even a little bit of South Carolina as we go on throughout the afternoon. Let you know right now at 12:10 as we're doing this update live to the Carolina Weather Group YouTube and across the greater network of the Carolina Weather Group affiliates. We're just going to do a broad update right now. So as I put onto the screen for you some of these tornado warnings that we're seeing in northeastern North Carolina. We're not going to be staying on to track these storms all the way through. Our apologies on that, but I want to let you know that up front so that if you are in these areas, you can tune into local media right now to try to get some of the latest on these storms. But let's show you a little bit about what's going on out here and just kind of give you the lay of the land because it kind of sets us up for the rest of the day. So we do have a couple of different tornado warnings on the screen right now. I'm going to circle each one of them. They are in the red polygons. At this very moment, we have 3 of them. Now, these storms are moving off to the east, and you can see out ahead of them the orange severe kind of marine weather warnings that are essentially severe thunderstorm warnings over the water because we will be getting into some open waters here, little inlets out towards the shore, and that's some good news. But what right now we need to take into consideration is we do have a severe thunderstorm that is producing the likelihood of a tornado, and so a tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service. It does include Corolla here. We have another one that has just come back up for Elizabeth City, if I'm not mistaken. This is their second tornado warning already of the day here by this lunchtime hour. And then we've got another one that's coming out of Arrowhead Beach and into Edenton, and is going to be making its way out over the inlet here. But, you know, if you're on the other side, maybe towards Columbia and the like, you need to keep an eye out on this. We've had a number of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings so early in this day already, and out along the Outer Banks here, Nags Head, Kitty Hawk, Southern Shores, Duck, and of course Corolla. You're going to be watching for this entire first line to be moving from your west, moving eastward across you. And if we go ahead and put the radar into motion here, you can kind of get a sense of the direction and the speed of these storms as they continue to trek across this extreme northeastern section of North Carolina, very close, of course, to the Virginia border. We're going to talk about some other areas that will be under threat a little bit later on today. But as we go ahead and bring this back out here to live radar from the Richmond, Virginia area, and we switch over to velocity. So we're switching from reflectivity, which was showing the rain intensity, now towards where the winds are spinning. Right now, what we're looking for is areas where the reds and the greens come together in kind of bright intensity. So we might have the possibility of a tornado making its way here towards the Outer Banks, just south of Corolla. And again, we have 3 of these red polygons, lots of polygons on the screen right now. The other thing that, of course, you're seeing a lot of, especially if you're in this area, just check out all of this lightning. Now, lightning itself is not criteria for severe weather by definition. What I mean by that is it doesn't cause the National Weather Service to prompt a severe thunderstorm warning because they've seen lightning. But lightning, of course, can be deadly and severe in its own way. So if you hear thunder at any point today, head inside. Do not wait for a warning. All right, well, what do you do if you find yourself under a tornado warning at any point today? You want to get to the lowest level of a sturdy structure with as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. So that could be an interior bathroom, that could be an interior closet. If you have a basement, that's of course ideal, but a lot of places, especially in these coastal areas, don't have basements that they can necessarily get into. So you just want to do the best thing you can do, which is get down to the lowest level with as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. All right, so let's talk about the big picture of what's happening today. Now, we do have a slight risk for severe weather issued by the Storm Prediction Center. That's on yellow on your screen right now, and that comes about as far inland as the Interstate 95 corridor in North Carolina, and then also hooks into portions of the South Carolina coast like Myrtle Beach. But other places along the North Carolina coast are also in here: Atlantic Beach, Wilmington, Outer Banks. And what that kind of equates to is in this tier 2 out of 3 chance of seeing severe weather, it's about a 5% chance of seeing a tornado, a 15% chance of seeing damaging winds. That's thunderstorms capable of producing winds of 60 miles per hour or greater, and we can't rule out the chance of seeing some hail with this, about a 5% chance as well. Now, we do have a marginal risk, a tier 1 out of 5 in the darker green that comes further inland, almost into the Charlotte metro area, the Columbia metro area, Augusta, and even down towards, say, Hilton Head and Savannah. Indiana. So, of course, that threat for damaging winds, 60 miles per hour, that's going to come in the form of severe thunderstorm warnings. So, do keep an ear and an eye out for those severe thunderstorm warnings, because those winds, 15% chance, according to the National Weather Service, of seeing storms capable of producing those damaging winds. And one of the best ways that you can keep yourself informed, NOAA Weather Radio, it is analog, it doesn't require Wi-Fi or cellular data, and if you couple that with maybe a phone or another tool like a local AM/FM radio, you'll have multiple ways in order to receive warnings, and that's really ideal. Let me pull up here real fast. I don't think I have a pre-made slide for it, but I want to show you a little bit of what the Weather Service is doing in terms of kind of issuing ahead or warning us, giving us a little insight, if you will, as to what they expect that they'll be doing over the next little bit. And these are called mesoscale discussions. They're primarily intended for kind of internal weather geek conversation. They're not typically public consumed products, but if we use them just right, I can kind of give you an idea of what it is that we can anticipate over the course of the next few hours. So this is the website of the Storm Prediction Center, spc.noaa.gov, and there's a couple of different products out here, including those outlooks that I was just showing you. But with these mesoscale discussions, give us an idea of what the Weather Service thinks might be happening in the next little bit. So increasing thunderstorm threat here across portions of central and coastal North Carolina. Again, this is that I-95 corridor we were just talking about, where some of the storms could be severe and a watch will be likely. Now, what type of watch? We don't exactly know yet. It could be a tornado watch, maybe more likely to be a severe thunderstorm watch, because their verbiage here, increasing thunderstorm coverage expected this afternoon across central and eastern North Carolina, with the primary threat of these storms being damaging wind gusts. Isolated hail and tornado or two may also occur. Given these threats, a watch will likely be needed across portions of central and eastern North Carolina, an 80% chance of seeing that watch come out. So again, let's talk about the different types of bulletins you might get from the Weather Service today. A warning means that something's occurring. A tornado warning means a tornado is either occurring or likely to occur in the next few minutes, and you should seek shelter immediately. A watch, either for a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch, means those conditions are likely over the course of the next several hours, and you should be actively monitoring for changes in weather conditions, such as listening to NOAA Weather Radio, and that could then be upgraded to a warning. A watch is going to be broad. It's going to be over several counties. This wide swath of land has the potential of seeing this weather later on today, and then a warning becomes very isolated. And then these mesoscale discussions kind of happen preliminarily before all of that. So they kind of gives us in the media an idea of what to expect in the next few hours. So in the next few hours, it's possible we could see a watch come out ahead of seeing some isolated warnings as we go on through the rest of the day. Now, what does that look like in terms of kind of radar prediction or future cast, if you will? Well, we can actually show this to you on our rapid refresh, our high rapid refresh, or HRRR model run. And so this is kind of showing you what's happening over the next hour or so, and then pushing ahead throughout the course of the afternoon. So you can see in the first few frames here those thunderstorms that we're already seeing across northeastern North Carolina. And then we actually start to see more storms kicking off the mountains and the foothills, coming across the I-77 corridor, where we have kind of some isolated discrete cells that seem strong at times and could be severe thunderstorms. And then those kind of continue to push to the east, and then almost another line forming as we get back out towards Atlantic Beach and the coastal areas of North Carolina. So that really does kind of hone the threat for us today. Again, the strongest threat will be in that eastern North Carolina area from the I-95 to the east, but we also have a lower threat, but still a possibility of seeing storms from I-77 to the east. So that would include places like Charlotte or Greensboro or Fort Bragg, and then of course a little bit of bleed over into South Carolina as well. So what you can do in order to stay informed about the latest severe weather throughout the day, first and foremost, to keep yourself safe as you're out and about on this summer weekend. NOAA Weather Radio, cell phone, a couple different ways to get severe weather bulletins from the Weather Service we highly recommend. Now, we are on the air continuously throughout the day on YouTube, Carolina Weather Group on YouTube. We offer a product called the Carolina Weather Net that offers real-time warnings, just like this ticker you're seeing across the bottom of your screen right now, with live look at real-time weather conditions, sky cams, radar. That's called the Carolina Weather Net. You can find it streaming for free No cable or satellite subscription is needed. It is on the Carolina Weather Group YouTube channel, and then we'll be along with updates as conditions warrant across the broader affiliates of the Carolina Weather Group. So if you're watching right now on Facebook, that's the type of thing you can expect to see us come on the air with brief momentary updates. But it's that Carolina Weather Net on YouTube that has the continuous stream of weather data coming to you throughout the day, not just on severe days, but every day. So we do highly encourage you check that out. There's a link to that in the description. But once again, let me show you what's happening right now. At about 12:20 or so here on this Sunday, I think we might actually have a momentary break in the kind of early onset of tornado warnings that were coming across the Carolinas. I don't see any of them right now. They seem to have all been replaced with yellow polygons, which are severe thunderstorm warnings, meaning we don't so much have the threat of a tornado so much as we have that threat of 60-mile-per-hour winds. Those are the yellow polygons you see on the screen. We're still looking at the velocity product here on radar, so it's winds that we're measuring, and you can see as we quarry some of these really intense winds here to the south of Corolla. 72-mile-per-hour estimated by the radar here. That's nearly Category 1 hurricane strength winds, just to give you an equivalent here. That would be 74 miles an hour would be a Category 1. So some of these thunderstorms that are moving through could produce winds in equivalent to what you would see with a tropical storm or even a low rate hurricane. So in terms of the risk that we're seeing from these storms with winds, that's kind of the stuff we're keeping an eye out for today. So please don't brush off any of these severe thunderstorm warnings that we do get across the region. That's kind of what we're looking for. And highlighted on your screen in blue, they're kind of hard to see in the dark background, but this was the first mesoscale discussion that came out today. And then this is the secondary one that we were just talking about. So those two combined kind of give you an idea of where the greatest impacts are, and even some of these locations that will possibly be under a watch as we go throughout the rest of the day. East Carolina University, Smithfield Complex, UNC Pembroke, and even portions of kind of the Triangle region as well too. Again, that's kind of just the broadest threat. That's that slight risk that we could see that severe thunderstorm watch come out for today. That slight risk being a tier 2 out of 5, but then further inland for the marginal risk, tier 1 out of 5, about to the I-77 corridor or so. So again, I'm James Brierton in Charlotte. Thanks for tuning in for this update from the Carolina Weather Group as we're tracking this severe weather threat that is just, of course, riding along this heat wave that we've been having the last few days. So if you don't happen to encounter a severe storm today, do please take some weather precautions in pacing yourself outside in this hot weather. Stay hydrated, limit your time outside, especially if you're in some of the areas like Mecklenburg County that have been getting these ozone warnings the last few days because of atmospheric conditions that might make it kind of difficult for very young, the elderly, or those with respiratory conditions to stay outside for a long time. They may find it hard to kind of breathe, essentially, because of particles in the atmosphere combined with heat and even some of that smoke and haze that we've been continuing to get. It's been a very interesting summer here in the Carolinas, as you all know, and so now today we're going to be watching for the next few hours possibility of some severe storms with that. But for now, from Charlotte, I'm James Brierton. If you're watching on the Carolina Weather Group, Carolina Weather Net, that is on YouTube, the time is 12:24. We'll have a check of your local weather coming up next, as we do at 25 and 55 past every hour. And if you're watching on the other platforms, that does it for this update. We'll see you back as weather warrants. I'm James Brierton. This has been an update from the Carolina Weather Group.